Welcome back. In today's video, we're going to talk about the number one onboarding mistake that costs companies the most when it comes to onboarding new clients. But first, why are we talking about onboarding? Well, let me tell you. Onboarding new clients in a fast, repeatable way gets clients experiencing wins way sooner, and it's the single fastest way to increase retention and referrals. When going through one of my service offers, Sales Flow, I talk to clients about what are the different ways that leads are coming into the business. And one of the number one ways, referrals. But what if I told you that referrals started with onboarding? Let's take a look. A fast, repeatable onboarding experience that gets clients experiencing wins way sooner is the single fastest way to increase retention and referrals. By the end of this video, you will understand the hidden mistake that slows down delivery, delays your revenue, and overextends your team. You're also going to see what's missing in your onboarding that's creating drag, confusion, or rework for both you or your team if you have one. You're also going to know exactly how to redesign your onboarding so clients experience value faster, which directly impacts and boosts retention and referrals. You're also going to be able to identify where your time and energy are leaking during the onboarding process. The important thing is that you don't overcomplicate onboarding. You want it to be a simple and consistent experience. Every time a team member does it differently, the clients feel it. And the reason why things are inconsistent is because the onboarding steps are living in someone's head instead of in a clean workflow. When steps live in someone's head, everything slows down and steps get missed. That's where delays happen, errors happen, and frustration starts to sink in for both you and the client. And oftentimes, that's where everything starts to resource back to you. And inevitably, that's where everything starts to fall back on your shoulders. When onboarding isn't documented, you are left with bottlenecks from the client that are disguised as follow-up questions, looking for an update, just wanted to check in. All of this time and attention is leaking profit from your business. So, why does this cost the most? And why is this such a common and impactful mistake? First of all, slow onboarding delays the moment your clients actually feel the value that they paid for. And that delay impacts retention before you or they even realize it. And it slows down revenue because the time to value increases. The longer clients wait to experience momentum, the more nervous they get. It also drains your bandwidth. When the flow isn't clean and clear, the team starts to pull you back in for decisions that they should be able to make on their own. And that's time and attention that you could be spending getting more business, growing the business, or revenue generating activities. So let's compare this to what a strong onboarding experience looks like. So strong onboarding looks like a fast, predictable flow that gets clients grounded, supporting, and moving quickly. It also gives a client a quick win where they immediately feel the value and have no buyer's remorse. There's also automated touch points that create consistency and ease without that extra work or the team manually having to do anything. There's also clear ownership. So your team doesn't have to guess, hesitate, or second guess themselves. And you have a client experience that feels intentional and supportive. And here's a secret that most people won't tell you. Even though clients in theory know that you have other clients, they really want to feel like they're the only ones in your business. So ultimately, when you have a new client onboarding process that is strong, clients trust you faster and they stay longer. So now, how do you fix it? Or how do you optimize what you already have? The first thing that I want you to do is start to map out what already exists. It's really important not to map out first what you wish you had, but to start with what's already in place. Next, you want to clarify who owns each step, and not just who owns it, but what the role is. Because here's the thing. Right now, you might be owning all of those aspects of the onboarding process, especially if you were a solopreneur or you might have a small team. But if you can identify what the role is, a project manager or a client success person, then that way, when you're ready to delegate, you know who to delegate it to, and each of the parts of the onboarding experience are very clearly defined of who owns what. When you take the time to clarify who owns each step, the ownership is very clearly defined and it eliminates any hesitation or second guessing. And that in return is going to accelerate delivery. And then go ahead and take the time to identify what you can automate. Automate everything that repeats and doesn't change every single time. And automation isn't just about efficiency. It's about freeing up you and your team's mental capacity so you can truly wow the client. Then build a simple, low complexity, repeatable flow that removes the drag and the friction and creates a smooth momentum building client experience. Once you've implemented that first draft, then you can start to look back at all the things that you wanted it to look like and start to implement those things over time if you need to. You may not need to, and you may realize that all those things that you wish you had mapped out in the very beginning are actually just ways to overcomplicate things and slow it down. So now I want you to pause and think about onboarding a new client without your team needing you even once. My hope is that that image gives you a little bit of lightness and weight off your shoulders. So go ahead and grab your journal or your phone and jot down just one part of the onboarding process that you want to tackle first. Naming it is the first step towards taking action on your new and improved client onboarding experience. When onboarding new clients becomes consistent and simple, your whole business moves faster. Client wins happen faster. You and your team feel lighter knowing that the client experienced that win, and you get hours back in your week that you used to spend onboarding those new clients. This can be one of the most profitable upgrades you can make going into 2026. So, for more tools on how to strategically simplify your workflows, go ahead and grab my free course in the description below. And if you're ready to rebuild your onboarding, create a wow client experience that increases client retention and referrals from the get go, sign up for a free discovery call to work with me one on one. That link is below. See you next time.